Here's something that's pretty interesting. So Tomi Lahren has been under heavy fire from conservatives because she has voiced her opinion against overturning Roe v. Wade. Now, there seems to be two fronts to this, but I think it was more of like a cover-up to not get as much backlash, but she ended up sort of giving it up anyway. It was supposed to be an electoral strategy. You know, we don't want to do this because the way the Republicans win is staying out of social issues, even though immigration is a social issue and you pretty much cover only social issues anyways. But that aside, of course, let's see what she said about this on Fox News.
It's important to clarify my statements there because first and foremost, I believe that Judge Kavanaugh is a constitutional conservative, not a religious judicial activist, which is exactly what we want. My problem is with some of my fellow conservatives who have put it out there that we are, quote, coming for Roe v. Wade. That is a mistake because we are putting it out there and implying that we are sending a justice to the bench to carry out religious judicial activism, which is a mistake and is unconstitutional. And if we as conservatives are going to imply that, if that's going to be our messaging, we might as well spit on the Constitution. That is not what we stand for. If we are not going to uphold the Constitution on its merit, who will? That is up to us to do. So that my real problem here, regardless of my views on abortion, pro-life, pro-choice, is the messaging of our Supreme Court Justice and how he will handle Roe v. Wade if it comes to that point.
Yeah, she has been under really heavy fire from conservatives for this. If you recall, the first time that this really came out where she voiced this opinion, it was while she was still working for The Blaze. She went on The View and she was talking to The View hosts, and they were conversing, and then she goes, you know, there's a hypocrisy on the right that, hey, don't regulate my guns, but regulate abortion, when both the idea of both is supposed to be protecting human life. And she says, well, okay, I can't be a hypocrite like they are. And so that got the Republicans all up in their foot. They got their panties in a bunch heavy. They got triggered really fucking hard. And Ben Shapiro was, you know, voiced her opinion against her. And he's been going after her, you know, that and now too. They got into quite the argument on Twitter. But basically, she's talking about, first of all, an electoral strategy. But it's very clear she does actually lean pro-choice. And that is like one of the few areas where it looks like she drifts away from the right, is leaning pro-choice, which is pretty interesting. It's actually pretty interesting to see. It's not something that I really expected, to be honest. You would expect her to be someone who's like a super pro-lifer, but that's just simply not the case. But the Republicans are definitely up in arms. The conservatives are very, very angry. They're not excited about this. And it seems that she has been under a ton, I repeat, a ton of fire for this. And she originally started out by saying, oh, you know, it's an electoral move, you know, electorally speaking, strategically speaking, you know, we should do this because it's a strategic move. But then she kind of let the cat out of the bag and was like, oh, no, like, I don't think the government should do it. And then, you know, she said, I don't think it's the government's job to do it, or I don't think the government can do it. So that's what it seemed like. It's interesting. Let me know your thoughts on this down below.